right, everyone, and welcome back to Talking Toku, Boston's only podcast about Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman, and all their kaiju friends. I am your host, David Scrivani.
I'm your co-host, Brian Kershaw.
And we're back after a couple of weeks hiatus because I was on vacation getting domestically assaulted by various insects, mosquitoes, potentially ticks.
You don't want to get Lyme disease.
No, I don't. I really don't want to get Lyme, and I don't want to get that thing where like some ticks you can like get an allergy to red meat if they bite you.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah.
Eat chicken for the rest of your life.
I mean, I like chicken, but I like a good burger too.
Chicken forever. The only meat you can ever eat.
I would.
Besides, like,
I'd rather die.
Besides, like, fish, maybe.
All right, but this is actually our second time recording this.
Yeah, because Dave touched the stupid power switch. It turned everything off.
I didn't even like touch it. My foot tapped against the extension cord, and it just unplugged. It's like I looked at it, and it just stopped.
It was like, nah.
Yeah,
not today.
Yeah, so hopefully the our news and discussion segment won't sound too forced.
Yeah, we're gonna try to blitz through this because we spent 20 minutes.
We did spend 20 minutes, and I'm a little upset about it.
So minimal joking. Okay, go, Dave.
Well, I still want to give a shout out to Johnny Gifford and Connor Murphy, who have done a phenomenal job on our intro and outro music that you guys have been hearing for the past couple of weeks.
Still haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, well, you've heard the intro music. I've showed you the intro.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, I just haven't shown you the outro because I didn't realize I had access to the outro. I was editing, I think it was the Colossal episode, and I had to go into a Google Drive to go download the intro, and I'm like, hold on, that says Toku outro. That's been in here for a month. Why did Johnny not tell me this was available?
Wow.
I know. So I had strong words from when I went to Fitchburg last time.
It's a mystery.
I know. But yeah, so if you guys have been enjoying the music we've been playing at the beginning and end of the show recently, send all your love to Johnny and Connor. They're great guys. Love them. Great musicians. All right. Well, Brian, you know what time it is.
It's news time.
It's news time. Do you have any news for us, Brian?
I never do.
Man, you could have remembered some of the news we talked about and brought it up.
Yeah, you're right.
But you didn't.
But here's the thing. I'm really bad at actually telling news.
That's fair.
I'm going to leave it to you.
I am the one with the notes here. So first up on the docket, we have some brand new Mill Creek Ultraman releases. First, we have their first non-Ultraman, kind of more Ultra-adjacent series, Gridman the Hyper Agent, the kind of weird cybernetic tokusatsu show from the 90s that has recently had a resurgence with the anime SSSS Gridman. That is really, really good. And Brian, I really want you to watch that because I really want to do an episode on it.
I will.
Good. I don't know if it's available somewhere for free. It might be on like Crunchyroll or something, but you need a subscription to Crunchyroll or whatever.
Well, good thing I can afford a monthly subscription for 1 month.
Yeah. Or just get a free trial and binge it.
Oh, that's fair. I love free stuff.
Who doesn't, honestly? So there's that. Well, that's going to be coming out August 17th on Blu-ray. And then the final two Showa-era Ultraman shows, Ultraman 80 and The Ultraman, are going to be released on September 14th on DVD only, unfortunately, because apparently the Blu-ray masters for those two shows don't even exist in Japan. And that's the source that Mill Creek has been using for all their other releases. They've been using the Blu-ray masters that Tsuburaya has with them in Japan. So can't get a Blu-ray master if a Blu-ray master doesn't exist. It sucks, but I'll still buy them and watch them.
Yeah. Again, just wait 10 years.
Just wait 10 years.
You'll get a box set.
Hopefully.
Someday.
Yeah. And I do love how all the Ultraman series, the Showa ones, look on my shelf because I got all the steelbooks and they're numbered spines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks nice. And that's not going to be the case with this one.
Just got to wait.
I got to wait, I guess. All right. Also, in Tsuburaya news, Tsuburaya has just announced Mirror Man 2D, a manga based on the classic Mirror Man series to celebrate its 50th anniversary. I know absolutely nothing about Mirror Man, but I do know that Tsuburaya Productions has been posting episodes of the series on their YouTube channel. I haven't watched them yet, but I'm planning on it at some point. Masato Hisa is going to be heading the book. He's most well known for Nobunagun. I don't know, my Japanese is rusty, quote unquote. I
Don't speak it.
don't speak it. I took 2 semesters of it, retained nothing.
Good job.
And the manga adaptation of Batman Ninja. The first volume of Mirror Man 2D will debut on July 30th. And we also have more news from our good pals at Arrow Video, who have been knocking it out of the park with their kaiju / tokusatsu releases. Mm-hmm. You know, with the Gamera set, the Bloodthirsty trilogy release, and the upcoming Daimajin release that we covered.
Which I bought.
So did I.
I'm psyched.
So am I. It's been a while since I've watched those movies.
Because that cover looks great. I know. It looks so good on my shelf.
So they're going to be releasing 2 kaiju-ish tokusatsu releases. One is the Cold War Creatures box set, which will feature 4 films from director-producer Sam Katzman, including Creature with the Atom Brain, The Werewolf, Zombies of Mora Tau, and of course, The Giant Claw.
The best movie ever made.
The best monster movie ever made, The Giant Claw.
No, it's the best movie
It's the best movie ever made? Okay.
Best movie ever made.
All right, I'll take that.
No contest.
A movie neither of us have seen all the way through.
It's just so good you can't watch all of it.
I know.
Because you're you're watching it, you're just like, how can someone make a movie
I feel
good?
like I can just I feel like as long as I just have it's as big as a battleship, that's all I really need to know from that movie.
It's a movie so good that it shouldn't exist and the laws of physics stop working around it.
Damn, I didn't realize we're already talking about Godzilla Singular Point.
We're coming up on it.
But they are also doing The Snake Girl and the Silver-Haired Witch, which is one of the few films that Gamera creator Noriaki Yuasa directed, other than Gamera, of course. I don't really know what it's about other than a snake girl and a silver-haired witch.
Hey, that's my joke.
I know, but I stole it from you.
All right, well.
That's what you get for not having news, Brian.
Yeah, that's what I get for not stealing your news segment from you.
But it seems like a kind of spooky little Toku horror movie, and
I'm down for that.
I love the Bloodthirsty trilogy, and I love me some classic J horror.
Yeah, honestly, Japanese horror is best horror. They do it the best.
Agreed. Ultraman Trigger, New Generation Tiga, is the upcoming Ultraman series, following up Ultraman Z from last year. We finally have a confirmation that that'll be simulcast on Supro's YouTube channel, just like they did with Z last year. Just like Z last year, it will be premiering on Ultraman Day, July 10th. Not really sure why that's Ultraman Day. I think it might be the premiere date of the original Ultraman series, but
that makes sense.
I might be wrong about that. I don't know. I mean, I think Batman Day is the day that Detective Comics 27 came out, so that probably tracks.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. But just like with Zet and the Chronicle one, that's just Ultraman Zero talking about just recapping the events of both Tiga and Zet. Episodes will be up for 2 weeks, so be sure to keep up with things, Brian. That means you.
Okay.
Keep up, and then we'll do a whole Ultraman Trigger review at the end of the series.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll keep up. July 10th?
July 10th
okay.
is the premiere date. So
I'll be watching it.
A couple weeks from now. 2 weeks.
We'll do a watch party.
We'll do a watch party. Oh, we could do a watch party. I mean, they do premieres for them on YouTube, like with a live chat and everything.
Yeah, we can. If you donate to our Patreon,
our $50 Patreon,
with the one tier, we'll get you in the watch party.
I like how that's a running joke now.
Yeah, it's a great joke.
It is.
And you know what? Honestly, it's good that thing broke because now I can make that joke and it actually fits.
There we go.
It fits in the podcast episode. There you go.
All right, and now, Brian, we have something new that we have never covered on the show before.
I know what this is.
Yeah, you do, because I already said that last time.
It's drama.
Drama. I'm going to put air horns in here,
drama.
Maybe.
It's drama time.
So, recently, there was a book announced and subsequently canceled because the author of the book
is a transphobe.
Yeah, Benjamin Chaffins. I will read the tweets off once again. This is from 2018. Our good pal Ben Chaffins. Good pal is very sarcastic, by the way.
Big air
Don't
quotes.
get me wrong. Yeah, very big air quotes. He said, yes, could I ask why trans people are needed in the military? Someone responds, the problem is excluding a group of people based entirely on their gender identity. Trans people should be allowed to serve. They are willing and capable, and most willing trans people are plenty capable. So Ben goes, the real problem is the fact that if an individual turns gay for one day, they could sexually assault a normal human being. So no, they are not needed. You know, just casually, I think I'll be gay today.
Yeah.
And sexually assault someone.
Definitely not understanding what...
No.
Yeah.
Not in the least.
Okay. So this guy sucks.
This guy sucks. He canceled the book and has essentially completely removed himself from the fandom.
Good riddance.
Good riddance. In a statement from Sci-Fi Japan webmaster Keith Aiken, he says, to set the record straight, I was unaware of any controversy regarding Benjamin until I logged onto Facebook tonight and saw I had a private message from him asking me to remove the promo post since he will not be doing the book and is stepping away from the fandom. Most of the contributors from Sci-Fi Japan have been old friends that I've known personally for years/decades. Benjamin is one of the few that I've never met or even spoken to on the phone. He contacted me offering his services as a translator and interviewer, and after reviewing his work, I gladly accepted. I have been pleased with his work, and I've never received so much as a single complaint about him. Not when any of his articles were posted at Sci-Fi Japan, nor when we plugged his first book last year. So tonight was quite the shock. I read a few of the quoted posts and saw enough. I want to avoid political or religious debate here, but I will say that the posts displayed a viewpoint that I neither condone nor endorse. Benjamin has assured me that he regrets his past actions and the pain they've caused, and is trying to learn and grow from those mistakes. We can't change our paths, but we can choose who we will be in the future, and I wish him the best going forward. I'd be more liable to believe Mr. Chaffins is going to change if he hadn't posted something to the effect of, don't like my politics, sucks for you, around the same time as he posted the transphobic comments.
That very much points to the I did not learn my lesson.
Exactly.
And I'm going to continue being terrible.
Mm-hmm. And sure, it was 3 years ago, but like...
Hey,
really?
If he's going to change, make it public, and maybe we'll be like, okay, well, if you change
well,
and
that's the
become
thing.
more
He's
positive.
not public anymore. He purged all his social media accounts.
See? By purging your social media accounts and completely disappearing because you feel ousted by a community because you kind of suck. That just means that you didn't learn your lesson because you think it's other people's fault and not yours.
Mm-hmm.
Bad takes. He's
bad is an understatement.
He's full of them.
Yes.
Shitty hot takes. Good riddance if you're like this and you're in the Godzilla community. Let it be known that we don't like you.
Mm-hmm. We don't condone it. We don't like it. Get away from me.
Yes.
If I so much see you on the street, I'm gonna pop you one. I'm gonna pop you one.
Bang. I'm gonna pop you. There is on the completely unrelated. There was this. It was like a fight video that I saw on Reddit, and it was like these two English guys, and there was like this one kid who was like, "Did you hit her?"
Oh, I did see this.
And then he said, "I'm gonna bang you."
Yeah. Answer honestly, or I'm gonna bang. And he's like, and the guy goes, "Yes," like exasperately, and the guy just starts wailing on him. And then as soon as he's done, you hear this guy, you hear the guy just like crying, and like the way he cries, he sounds like a creaky door opening.
Yeah, it was so funny. But the term "I'm gonna bang you" is so funny. I just in the context of beating someone up, I'm gonna bang you. That was so funny.
But yeah, good riddance, Ben Chaffins. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry, man.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna. The only people who are sorry are the people who are equally as shitty as you.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's that for the news. So now we can get to the meat of the discussion
that we were covering.
That we were right in the middle of when things fell down.
When the power was like, nope.
Yeah. We're here talking about the second big release of 2021, Godzilla Singular Point, the not Netflix anime. Netflix just has the distribution rights to it. It's not their production like a lot of their animes are.
Which good, because I already have a subscription.
Exactly.
I didn't want to get another one.
Exactly. But yeah, we have our first big Godzilla anime. Again, not to knock the Polygon trilogy. I respect it. But
I don't like it.
You don't like it.
We'll go over it someday.
I think we should, especially now that we've watched Singular Point. I think it'd be interesting to revisit.
Me, it's a very strange time capsule of a series.
Yeah, but again, I think when people have wanted a Godzilla anime in the past, they were looking for more of a TV series instead of a trilogy of films.
Yeah.
So that's why I am calling this the first real Godzilla anime. I'm going to make the same joke a second time.
Okay.
I have one word to describe my review.
I'm ready for it.
For Godzilla Singular Point.
I'm ready for the word.
What?
Thunderous applause.
No, don't get me wrong. I really, really enjoy Godzilla Singular Point. But my word, is it near impossible to follow at times.
It is dense.
It's very dense.
It's very information dense.
Yes. And a lot of that has to do with some of the weird theoretical physics ideas that it has. And full disclosure, I failed physics in high school. So this is going even further over my head than the average person.
Okay. All right. So where should we start off on our discussion?
I don't even know where to start, man.
Okay. So let it be known, I loved this show. I had a great time. I was confused for a good portion of it. There was a lot of there was a lot of techno talk and all this, all these crazy theories, and it was a little hard to follow. It was pretty hard to follow most of the time. But it was fun. I had a great time, and full disclosure, I'm not really an anime fan. Never really, not because I'm one of the people who just oh, anime sucks. Even though I say it as a joke, but
yeah.
but I've never
real anime fans know anime sucks. Don't worry.
For me, I've tried to watch a couple. My girlfriend has maybe watched a couple of them, or not maybe, but we've watched a couple together.
Watch this, or I'll break up with you.
Yeah, no. and then I've tried to watch a couple that were recommended to me, and just I don't know, it's the storytelling, or there's a lot of
I'm super picky about anime.
There's just some things about anime that it just doesn't grasp me.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't do it for me. I think it has to do with a lot of how people are written, or some of the stories just don't really grasp me. There's a lot of stuff with just weird stuff that just doesn't. A lot of it's mystical things, and some of that just it doesn't grasp me. But I love hard sci-fi, and this show is
it's the hardest you can get.
The hardest sci-fi. It is hard sci-fi with kaiju flavor.
Yep.
It's great. All the characters I thought were really enjoyable to watch. This is probably one of the most competent female characters I've seen in anything recently, which is a breath of fresh air, because I'm sick of seeing women portrayed as morons, because it's obnoxious.
Man, look at you being woke today, Brian.
I'm sorry, it is really annoying to
I agree. I absolutely agree.
It's a trend that needs to die, because most people I know in this world that are dumb are guys.
Well, the thing is, I think in anime that's not as big a problem as it is here in the West.
That's true. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So I'm glad with the characters. Everyone in the show is very competent. Even people that are portrayed to be kind of weird and dumb are still smart. There's an old man in
Goro
the show.
Taki.
Easily,
what a guy.
Easily the best character in the show, because he's just fantastic.
I love. So what? I think the moment I fell in love with Goro was at the start of the second episode. So the first episode leads off the cliffhanger with Rodan attacking.
Yep.
And then the second episode opens immediately with Goro getting into Jet Jaguar and going to fight Rodan. And he is having the time of his life fighting Rodan.
A great time.
He is not scared whatsoever. He's doing this big introduction monologue, and then he's and then as Rodan's attacking him, he's like, "Oh, hey, whoa! You gotta let me finish my monologue, man. Hold on. I'm not ready yet." He's so funny.
He was a highlight. All the characters are big highlights.
They're really great characters, and I feel like that's. I think that we haven't really had really enjoyable characters in something Godzilla since like Final Wars.
Yeah,
and those characters aren't like good; they're just funny.
Yeah, they're funny.
You know, like they're all real.
There are two things you don't know about her.
One's me, the other is Godzilla.
Godzilla, complimentary towel.
Oh my god, I would love to get Don Fry on the show. That would be incredible.
I don't even know if he's doing anything nowadays.
I think he had some health problems a couple years ago, so I think he's retired from MMA.
Okay.
So I don't really know. He might just be like chilling now.
Good for him.
Yeah. But yeah, like all the characters are like, they're really well written, and some like, it's really difficult to tell what their motivations are for like, and that's not like a criticism I have. I think it's by design, because like I was constantly back and forth on whether BB was like a good guy or a bad guy.
Yeah,
because like his physical appearance, he looks like an antagonist. Like the sunken in eyes and like the pale, his pale complexion. He looks like a bad guy.
I always thought he just looked exhausted.
I mean, that too. But I was convinced he was going to be like an antagonist, but no, he ends up being one of the people who like saves the world essentially.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
This was such a breath of fresh air in terms of like the human content.
Yeah.
Because most of it is following people.
It was a breath of fresh air for Godzilla in general.
Yeah,
I think
most of this show is following human characters, and I adored it.
Yeah.
I was like these. It was like these characters, you just don't see them in Godzilla stuff anymore.
Yeah.
You just don't. Like, put this show in... I know it's not fair because it's not the same medium, but put the human characters in this show in contrast with the characters from Legendary's Monsterverse. There is no contest to who's more...
No.
And they've had 4 movies to make these people enjoyable to watch, and they have... for the most part, failed.
Yeah.
The characters in this show from episode 1, great.
Yeah.
Like May, probably my favorite character. It was enjoyable to watch the whole time.
I find him underrated. I really like Haberu.
Oh yeah, no, he's great.
Because like he looks like the typical big dumb guy, but like he's very capable, and I like that about him.
He also had it understated, and because I haven't seen anyone say it, and I don't think I even told you, but yesterday I rewatched the show actually, and I noticed he actually has a very subtle like character arc thing where the whole show he's literally just like lifting weights in the background.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the show, we are spoiling the show, by the way.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched
as usual, we go into full spoilers with these.
This isn't really a spoiler because it doesn't really.
It's not. Yeah.
It doesn't do whatever. But he manages to lift Jet Jaguar, who is now very large with giant helicopter blades on him, off of a truck that is plummeting down, and he manages to do it. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. How about he's a champ?
I was just
love
like,
him.
that is like just some very subtle like character progression, and it's literally just he got strong enough to lift.
Yeah. Strong man.
It was so good. No, everybody in the show was great. I very much enjoyed everyone.
And I know some people might find it kind of tropey in terms of anime, but like Pelops 2.
Oh yeah. I thought I was gonna hate
Pelops 2.
Listen here. As soon as Pelops 2 showed up, I'm like, I'm gonna hate this thing. I was like,
I don't know if it's a AI, so I don't even know if it has a gender, but he's a little cute little corgi in a computer.
No, I was like, I'm gonna hate this thing, and then as pretty much 5 minutes later, I'm just like, yep, you know what? No, I like this.
They're so entertaining.
Yeah,
because like again, because being an advanced computer AI, they're really fucking smart.
Yeah,
and it's really funny to watch this cute little corgi talking about.
I thought it looked like a Shiba Inu.
Yeah, Shiba. I think that's probably the right breed of dog.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Japanese dog for a Japanese show, you know.
Good point. Good
You know
point.
how it
Good
is.
point. But yeah, it's a nice little contrast to seeing this cute little chibi Shiba talking about theoretical physics.
Yeah, and talking about the
MD5
catastrophe.
hash.
And,
Yeah.
And then they give it like a chicken looking body.
Yeah, that I couldn't make sense of how that body works, because like when you first see it, it just seems like kind of like a
suitcase.
Yeah, it's a lot like an astromech droid from Star Wars.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden it can like separate and have arms.
Yeah.
But there were like no seams visible initially. It flips back and forth. It was a little jarring.
I'm all right with it.
I mean, so am I. It's fun.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is all great. Very good. Like that is easily probably the highlight of this show for me.
Mm-hmm.
Was just everyone in it was just great to watch.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the monster action as well. And I think we talked about this, that Anguirus was probably the best he's ever looked.
Yeah. I mean, granted, Anguirus has had 3 designs previously to this, which it's of
For the
not
second,
a wide variety.
The second monster in Godzilla has been really like underutilized.
I know. Well, he was supposed to show up in like I think in the very first draft of Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2, he was going to show up, but that got rewritten entirely. Now we have that movie. But yeah, we were going to get a Heisei Anguirus. But yeah, no, I think Anguirus is probably the peak monster design in this show.
I also really did like the final stage of Godzilla.
Yeah, Godzilla Ultima.
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, Kaiju stuff, pretty good.
And
I don't think it's as good as the human stuff, but
yeah, no, I mean, despite being a Godzilla anime, the focus is definitely on what the humans are doing and what the catastrophe.
which is hard sci-fi.
Well, yeah, very hard. We're gonna get into that soon. Don't worry.
Yeah.
we can't avoid it for long.
Well, we can probably get into it now.
Yeah, we can just get into it now.
Because we talked about the highlight of the show.
Well, yeah, I do want to talk a bit more about the monsters before we do that, because there's a lot of drastic reimaginings of some of these characters. Like,
yeah.
I talked about this to you last night. You know, Rodan, they kind of just made him a generic pterosaur.
Yeah,
which I didn't love at first, especially like when I saw the trailers. I'm like, wow, that's a boring design.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is that when the trailer came out for this, and I watched it, and then like you were messaging me about it, and you're just like, I don't like Rodan.
Yeah,
I don't like how he looks.
Yeah, but no, I definitely came around on Rodan. I think it's still one of the lesser designs in the series, but
I don't think there's any like strictly bad design. I think all of them are good to great.
Yeah.
I personally with Rodan, like at first I was like, oh, it kind of sucks. Like he's kind of just a generic looking dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
But then I kind of enjoyed the idea of them being like harbingers.
They kind of gave Rodan the role of the Gauss in the Gamera trilogy, which is a neat idea because, you know, the Gamera trilogy is peak kaiju cinema. And it was a nice spin on that idea too, where it's like, you know, they're kind of from a alternate universe kind of thing, which I still don't really totally understand.
I don't think anyone really gets it.
Either. But and then I really, really liked all the various Kumangas.
Yeah,
because there are a bunch of different monsters they kind of combine into one there. It's like there's Kumanga, there's Megalon, and even Gigan. I don't know if you even noticed Gigan.
I don't think I did.
The main, like there's of course there's a bunch of them, but like the big one that Jet Jaguar was fighting had like much bigger.
Oh, you know what? I did notice that,
and like it also had buzzsaws on it too.
I thought, yeah, I did notice that. I thought I just had missed that the rest of them kind of had that.
Yeah, it was kind of brief to see this stuff.
To be fair, that entire sequence was a lot of visual clutter.
Yeah,
there was a lot going on.
That unfortunately stems from the use of 3D CGI for the monsters. I feel like if it had been 2D, it would have been a little
Except
easier.
For one part. There was one part where they did not use.
Yeah, in like the final episode with Salunga.
And that looked incredible.
It did. I still don't really know why they named him Salunga, because it's basically just Gabara. Like it looks exactly like Gabara.
It does look like. I actually, when they first showed him off, I'm just like, is that Gabara?
I think everyone thought that.
But I'm okay. I thought that the design was great.
Yeah, I really love how he has those like soulless GMK eyes.
Yeah.
It's very unsettling.
His whole design was very unsettling.
Yeah, and I like how he moves too. He's got kind of like a monkey's posture. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about the various other forms of Godzilla?
I don't really think we saw them enough for me to really have an opinion on it.
We saw his third form quite a bit, Godzilla terrestris. That was basically Gorosaurus.
Yeah, that one. I don't know.
I think that one's other than like the main, other than Ultima. I think I like terrestris the most.
I think I generally liked all of Godzilla's forms in this, except maybe the not Titanosaurus.
The not Titanosaurus, Aqualitus, I think is the pronunciation.
I just thought it was a little weird. I don't know. I mean, maybe it'll grow on me.
Yeah.
But I generally liked all of them. I really enjoyed how his atomic breath looks in this.
Yeah.
I was like, that is
awesome. I gotta shout out the fact that when he went into Godzilla terrestris, they gave him Manila's smoke rings.
Oh yeah, they did.
I'm like, all right. That's pretty. And I mean, and again, this series is so chock full of Easter eggs for the whole franchise.
Yeah.
Like just like the outro alone.
Oh, I love the outro.
The outro's like there's so many Easter eggs in that outro. Like you have characters from Final Wars, All Monsters Attack, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, the 1998 Godzilla movie. There's so many Easter eggs in that outro. It's so cool.
It is. Yeah, it is. I could watch that on loop for.
So I know
forever.
it's so good.
Yeah.
And then they have monster cameos too. Like you see Biolante in there. You see Kiryu.
You see regular Jet Jaguar.
Jet Jaguar and Kiryu.
I was like, whoa.
Manda, King Caesar.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Oh my boy, Caesar. I love him.
Is there any other monsters I'm missing? I mean, we'll talk about Jet Jaguar. He's the main guy, but
yeah. I think that's about it.
Not Varan was neat.
There's the Mandas.
I feel like we didn't get a good enough look at Manda to really.
I feel like they just weren't really that important.
Yeah, they were kind of just like
they didn't really do anything.
They didn't like they kind of set him up like as another Rodan type threat, but we never saw them do anything.
From what I kind of gathered, and we're gonna get into the science pretty soon. This is where it's leading us.
Yeah.
The Mandas and the Rodans were like methods of like spreading the red dust.
Yeah.
I want to say that the Mandas were kind of bringing the red tide. Because wherever they went,
absolutely they were. Yeah,
wherever they went, that's where the red tide also went. We saw it go from Japan to London to New York. So I think that was it. I don't think that they had much importance outside of that because they literally just got killed by battleships and then Godzilla. I wish I saw some more of them because I thought that their design was kind of neat.
I've seen the concept art, and the concept art looks really good. Like, and you never see it in the series, but like he has like this really neat like a snake, like a snake's eye, like the slit pupils. It's really cool, but we never really get a good enough look at him.
Well, hopefully, I mean, if there's a second season, which there probably will be, I hope we get more Mando.
Yeah, we'll talk about potential second seasons in a bit, but I think we've avoided it long enough. I think it's time we talk about the weird sciencey stuff.
Science class time.
Science class time. And again, I failed physics in high school, so I'll do my best here.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
So this show, you probably picked up on it. It's very science heavy. There's a lot of really out there theoretical physics and weird concepts and stuff. It's really hard to understand. Definitely the fact that this show was Japanese and then being dubbed to English or English subtitles.
And written by an actual physicist.
Yeah, that probably doesn't help. I have not looked into what the Japanese reception to this has been.
Neither have I. I really want to. I want to see what they think.
So I think that's going to be our next point of research. So we'll update you.
Yeah, we'll see.
But for us English viewers, it was kind of hard to grasp a lot of it. There was some stuff that I personally picked up on pretty fast, and then there was stuff that I didn't understand at all, and still don't. Most of it, I want to say I kind of understand enough to know what they're going for.
Yeah.
And I think you and I talked about this, definitely talked about it in the previous recording of this, but I think the fact that this show has so much stuff that you don't understand or kind of understand or kind of fuzzy on, I think that adds a ton of depth to this show.
Absolutely. Like it doesn't make you like look this stuff up, but like if you're interested in it, you're like, oh, that's an interesting idea. Let me see what this is. Mm-hmm. And then even sometimes it doesn't even do that. It actually teaches you in the show. Like it teaches you what MD5 is.
Yep, MD5 hash. Didn't even know what that was.
We'd never even heard of it until Singular Point. So like the fact that the show is actively teaching you what these ideas are is really weird to be in a Godzilla property.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great, just great for like kind of like picking up on new concepts and stuff. I enjoyed when the show was like kind of trying to teach you stuff. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, if you don't understand the show, then you're dumb or whatever. Like that's obviously not the intent of the creators.
To be fair, you need a high IQ to really appreciate Godzilla Singular Point.
No, I'm just kidding. But like I think that if you're just a casual viewer who just wants to watch this and be done with it, you're probably going to be a little disappointed.
And I think a lot of people actually are.
A lot of people are disappointed. And the other day I was kind of reading reviews and I was just like, what are these people talking about? Like, this is a show with great depth. And that's, what a lot of really hardcore fans, like I enjoy.
Yeah.
Depth and stuff that, like the American Godzillas have not really been giving us.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, people, a lot of like more, I don't want to say casual because I feel like that's not giving people the credit they deserve. It's more the fact that people like, I think they have this idea in their head that Godzilla is just like blockbuster stuff.
Yeah, I would call them traditionalists.
Yeah, because like we talked about the fact that Shin Godzilla is divisive, and I think this is as, if not more, divisive than Shin.
This is very much a Shin Godzilla situation.
Yeah, and I think the reason Shin Godzilla is so divisive is because it was kind of it was more of an intellectual take on the character, and this even more so. But don't get me wrong, like the more blockbuster take is fine. Like we enjoyed Godzilla versus Kong, but there wasn't enough there to keep me entertained over and over again.
No reason to rewatch it.
Yeah. I mean, I rewatched it the other day with Adam Wingard's commentary, and that was fun, but like I don't see myself watching it again sans commentary or anything.
Yeah.
At least not anytime soon.
No.
And I think people fail to realize this is a 65, almost 66-year-old 66?
66.
54.
No.
67 this year, I think.
Yeah, because 66 was last year.
Yeah, this is an almost 67-year-old franchise now. If you need to experiment, because otherwise, if you don't experiment, it's just going to stagnate. And that's exactly what happened in both the Heisei series and the Millennium series.
Especially the Heisei series.
Especially the Millennium, because like they had an idea for the Heisei series and they went with it. The Millennium series was just them kind of going through the motions, and it wasn't doing well in the box office because they weren't bringing any new ideas to it. And that's why they put it on on hiatus after Final Wars. Mm-hmm. And that's why, this might be a hot take, that's why I think now is like the best time to be a Godzilla fan. Because since 2014, we have had so many different, unique takes on the characters. We've had the Hollywood version, the big blockbuster version. We've had the futuristic hard sci-fi with the Polygon trilogy. We've had the more political, back to its roots take with Shin Godzilla. And now we have Singular Point. Like, it has never been we've never had this much variation in the franchise, probably since
ever,
since the
honestly.
Showa era, and even then it was still kind of samey.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I think that's why I was kind of saying, like, for like, you know, your everyday person who's not really looking for something super deep, like, they have stuff that they can watch.
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of new Godzilla material that you can go out and watch. And
Yeah,
have
like
a great time.
I don't want to just keep watching a movie like Godzilla versus Kong over and over and over. I don't want to see that become the norm, because that's
boring for me.
it stagnates the franchise.
Yeah.
And you know that is the case with any long running franchise, whether it be games, TV shows, movies.
Resident Evil.
Yeah, thankfully that's gotten.
It's over now because they learned their lesson. Yeah,
but yeah, you need experimentation to keep a franchise as old and long running as this alive. And I think Singular Point especially has been such a shot in the arm for the franchise, because it's so out there, and that might turn people off from it, and that's okay.
I really, really don't care if it's so different.
Neither do I.
I think that the reason that with this show there's been like really like mixed reactions is just because there's people that have differing ideas of where they want the series to go.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you have people who just want it to stay the same. And, you know, I can, in a sense, kind of respect that, but you need to iterate or die. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're going to stay on the same path and it's just going to be the same movie over and over again, or the same show over and over again, I'd rather the series just end.
Yeah. I mean, look what happened with the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Like,
it stagnated.
We got The Last Jedi, which had a bunch of new ideas. Like, regardless of your opinion on The Last Jedi, the fact that it did something different for once in that franchise, I respect the hell out of that movie. Yep. I'm in the in-between group of people where I don't love The Last Jedi. I don't hate it. I think it's fine.
I'm indifferent.
I really like the ideas it presents. I just don't think the execution was that good.
Yeah.
And then because people had an established, you know, expectations for what Star Wars was supposed to be, they didn't like The Last Jedi, and then they went back to that kind of norm with The Rise of Skywalker, and then everyone hated The Rise of Skywalker because it was stagnated. And again, it's the same thing with any other franchise. You need to bring in new ideas for people to remain invested.
Yep. And I'm very invested in this new take.
I know, so am I. And I really hope whatever comes next for Godzilla is equally as unique.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll probably get a season 2 of this at some point down the line.
Hopefully,
but I would love,
great.
Yeah. But whatever we get next for a new version, because I don't know if Toho's still planning on doing like a cinematic universe, because they did mention that a while ago. I think like before King of the Monsters even came out.
Oh wow, okay.
I think they wanted to do that, and I don't know if they still have plans to do that, but if they do, I'd be really interested to see the way a foreign studio handles building a cinematic universe. I think that'll be really cool, as long as they do something interesting with it.
Yeah,
you know,
if they do something along the lines of Singular Point, then I'd be fine. You know, I'd be fine with it.
I honestly, I wouldn't even want them to do something along the lines of Singular Point. I would like them to keep doing different ideas.
Yeah, no, I mean, kind of like in the same, like, kind of out there way.
Okay,
not exactly the same.
I got you.
But we kind of went away from the science.
I know we did.
We were trying to, yeah. So, it is great that, you know, that Godzilla went this really hard sci-fi direction. Mm-hmm. It's probably one of the leading reasons why I adore this show, because it's just so crazy and out there. I remember saying this in our last recording, but the best thing about this show is that it was released in a time where we can kind of look more into these kind of crazy out there concepts and get a better idea for what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest triumph of this show is making all of this interesting
Yeah, absolutely.
It could have gone down the road of characters, being just exposition pieces, or just just people talking about these kind of out there crazy concepts, not making it entertaining at all, and you just getting lost. But this show, the way that it presents all of this information and all of these, concepts and theories, it was baffling, but it was super interesting to listen to. On that note, I think the only major criticism I have is that the audience sometimes just feels a little detached from the main characters, because the main characters are so much smarter than the average viewer. But honestly, that's not really even a big problem, because the character doesn't always have to be on the same level as the audience. Like, that's not needed. So, when it comes down to the science, it's confusing, but you have, the average person has so much resources at their disposal. And if you like this show, you're going to want to look into more of these concepts. And I think that's great. That just adds depth to the show. It makes me want to rewatch it. I finished watching it the first time. And I kind of just did some reflecting on it. And then I kind of looked up some of these crazy theories. Still didn't really grasp it that well. And then I went back to rewatch it because it was it was great. Yeah. And I wanted to see if I could understand it better the second time.
Did you?
A little bit. I kind of got...
Not as much as you'd have liked?
No, I did. Well, for one, I still had an equally, if not better, time watching it the second time.
Okay, interesting.
I think the second watch for me was more interesting, strangely enough, because I knew what was going to happen.
So you kind of knew what to expect, so you knew how to process all the data you were getting.
I honestly think that was the intent of the show.
Really?
I think that it was meant for you to kind of know what's going on. It kind of strengthens the beginning of the show. Because honestly, the beginning of the show was definitely not slow, but I was lost.
It definitely picks up halfway.
Yeah, I was a little lost the beginning of the show. I was I don't know what's going on. They found this weird lullaby song, which is a fantastic piece of music. And we'll get to music in a couple minutes. But I feel like if you know what's going on, if you finish the show and you go back and you watch it from the start, you know what's going on, and you know what's kind of going on, and you kind of just pick up on stuff better. I think that's great. Yeah. And I think that's kind of just how playing with time in a show or movie kind of works. Because this show does a lot of that. Yeah,
I covered this in the previous broken recording, but I've started comparing this show to Christopher Nolan's Tenet, because the whole thing with Tenet is that it's kind of weird and time loopy, and we learn at the end of Singular Point that the thing they need to, activate the orthogonal diagonalizer.
You got it.
I did.
You did it.
First try. The thing they need to activate the orthogonal diagonalizer to stop the catastrophe, that information's in the past. No, it's in the future, isn't it?
Wait, say that again?
Is it in the future or the past?
Of what? Sorry,
Is the code to activate the diagonalizer in the future or the past?
It is,
because when Jet Jaguar get big, it says that it's the descendant of Jet Jaguar, Pelops and Pelops 2, way down the line.
So I think that they couldn't get the code until the catastrophe happened. Mm-hmm. So then Pelops 2 got sent kind of to the past, and then wrote it into the song.
Right,
and sent it forward.
Yes,
because the way that throughout the whole show, you hear this really.
It's like an Indian folk song.
It's like an Indian. It's a lullaby.
Yeah.
And you don't know what it means. No, literally, no one knows why.
Until
it's
the very
played.
End, you don't know what the hell the song is.
Yeah. It turns out that what it is that it's a code, and it's information needed to
stop the catastrophe.
To stop the catastrophe, and honestly, I don't really know what it's meant to do other than make Jet Jaguar invincible.
I don't know.
That's literally what it said.
Yeah.
But I mean, it works. And so that's kind of the deal. Jet Jaguar is the code itself,
Yeah.
as he said, or she. Sounds like she,
Yeah.
but that's the gist of it.
I forget where I was going with this, but
I don't remember either. I just explained the whole plot.
but yeah, if any of that was confusing to you, me too.
Yeah, I definitely picked up on it better.
Yeah.
After
I need to rewatch it. I started watching it with my dad in the dubbed version because I had heard that a lot of that technobabble was a little easier to follow and pick up on in the dub, but we watched the first 2 episodes. He wasn't really feeling it. I'm like, oh, okay, it gets better, but okay.
You
But
watching the English dub?
I haven't touched it since I finished the show.
Oh, okay.
So, no. Maybe I will at some point. I don't know.
Okay.
I do want to rewatch it, so maybe I will go with the dubbed version.
I tried watching the English, and I just couldn't.
That's fair.
I couldn't do it. I'm just so attached to the voice of these people
That's
that
fair.
I'm like, they changed the voice, and they're no longer speaking Japanese, so this is weird. Weird.
I mean, I do like the English voice actor for Yun. It's Johnny Young Bosch, who's a very famous voice actor in the anime world. He plays Ichigo in Bleach. I know you have no idea what Bleach is.
Nope.
I've never watched Bleach, but it's like one of the big anime.
Okay.
So yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. All right. Well,
But I still don't know what an archetype is.
so
I still don't really know what a singular point is.
okay, so I actually do kind of grasp what singular points are now.
Okay.
So singular points are like, I think you kind of said it, they're like a nexus to alternate timelines.
I don't know if that's actually the case.
I think maybe I did see a
But
comment.
but the thing is, all the monsters are singular points.
Yes.
So what?
So I think Godzilla is the one that everyone's worrying about.
Yes, because
he's huge.
Godzilla is the catastrophe.
He is
So the
the
catastrophe is when a singular point starts growing out of control.
Yes. And so I think that the singular points themselves aren't super like they aren't super important. It's just Godzilla as the singular point is. Because like there's like the super calculator that they're using to try and figure out the code to defeat Godzilla is also a singular point.
Yes.
And so it's just
So
it's,
not all singular points are monsters, but all
No.
monsters are singular points.
correct. And also a weird mechanical donut in a basement
Yes.
is also a singular point.
Yes.
Yeah, there. We said it. This show, it can get very muddy in terms of.
Again, it's a very dense show.
It's very dense.
We won't blame you if you're not if it doesn't click with you, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's like you're interested
It is absolutely the most intellectual Godzilla has ever been.
for sure.
Yeah.
but that is literally just because they had a physicist on to help them.
I know.
I personally really dig it. I'm not gonna blame anyone for just wanting a straight run of the mill.
Neither am I.
Like that's fine. I think that this was, as you said, definitely needed for the Godzilla series because I've been a little bored with the American ones.
Yeah, and my friend Jared, who for a long time now has kind of considered Godzilla a dead franchise because it hasn't been doing anything interesting. I saw him post the other day, made me really happy. He was like, I forgot what it was like to legitimately love a piece of new Godzilla media.
Yeah, that was me. After finishing the show, I was like, I love this. I'm a person who doesn't really like to be like, I love something. Like, oh yeah, it was pretty good. Dude, I fucking love this show.
It's
great.
real good.
I think the word I used to describe it was charming.
It is charming.
It's charming. It was like from basically the start of the show when I first heard that lullaby, I'm just like, that is both very catchy and also really creepy.
Yeah.
If the show is gonna keep like this, I'm gonna have a great time.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't help that they find the lullaby in a quote unquote haunted house.
True. And that haunted house is painted really weird colors. Yeah. I think now that we're over with our science talk, we should talk about the music.
I think, music was definitely a highlight because I can't remember who. I think it's Ken Sawada is the composer for for the score. I'm not trying to say it's derivative, but like the style of music, it definitely reminded me of Shiro Sagisu's work on Shin Godzilla, and also Takayuki Hattori's work throughout the franchise. He did Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, Godzilla 2000, and all three of the Polygon films. Mm-hmm. And the score for Space Godzilla isn't great, at least compared with the other Heisei movies' scores, because it's all Ifukube, but his style is really, really cool, and the way, again, it kind of, I felt at least that it matches up with Sagisu's style. It's really, really cool. It feels familiar, but also not.
I told this to you yesterday. We are friends outside of the podcast. So whoa! I know.
Spoilers.
I think what I said to you along the lines was like, this show had some reused sound and music.
Yes.
But it did not use it as a crutch.
Yes. The only piece of like recycled music it is the typical Godzilla theme, like dun 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 dun.
And I thought it was used very effectively.
Yeah. Especially considering like Godzilla King of the Monsters did with Bear McCreary's score, when he recycled that, he kind of
iterated on it.
Yeah, he added to it. He got that chanting in there, and they do something very similar to this, but instead of like that low kind of very low register baritone chanting, in this it's like kind of like more operatic.
Yeah,
and it sounds it's a lot more like
fantastical.
Not fantastical.
I thought it was fantastical.
It seems more apocalyptic.
Yeah,
and that's obviously what they're going with it, because Godzilla is the catastrophe.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was trying to say. Like, fantastical is in like world ending.
Yeah.
I thought that I did mention about the lullaby. They actually weave that lullaby into the soundtrack.
Did they?
They did. The final battle between Jet Jaguar and Godzilla, they have an operatic version of the lullaby, and it is
interesting.
I'll play it for you after this. It is an incredible piece of music. I thought that, with this show, I think I also said this to you, I'm glad that this show carved out its own sound, because I was getting a little sick of, especially like Shin Godzilla used a lot of original movie sounds. I'm not just talking about music. I'm talking about literal sounds.
Yeah.
So
did Singular Point.
Yeah, Singular Point did as well, but it had a lot of new stuff. Like, it carved out its own sound palette, and it wasn't boring me. Like, it wasn't derivative. In my opinion, like,
right.
Obviously you have Godzilla's roar, you have Anguirus' roar, and all these like very iconic.
At the very least, I appreciate that they didn't. They put a little effort into Godzilla's roar, because with Shin Godzilla they just played a roar. With Godzilla Ultima, they combined two roars.
Yeah,
they combined the 84, 89 roar, and then they combined the Millennium roar, which, in my opinion, are the two best Godzilla roars.
I agree.
So you combine them both, then you just got magic there.
Agreed.
But yeah, I think as much as I'd like to hear more new takes on the Godzilla roar, because it's such a great sound, I don't necessarily. It's not necessarily it doesn't need to be a thing.
It's not as pressing as needing to just take the character in general in a new direction.
I mean, it's the reason I love the legendary Godzilla roar, because it's so different, but also it's recognizably Godzilla's roar.
Yeah, you can hear the original in there, but it's its own.
It is entirely its own sound effect.
Yeah,
and Toho hasn't really been doing a great job with the roar recently. They for the Polygon trilogy, they just used the Millennium roar and they bass boosted it.
That was the funniest thing ever. Hit the bass boost button.
I remember when the first one, Planet of the Monsters, came out. Matt Frank, who we've talked about on the show a couple times, he was in Japan when it came out, so he actually got to see it in theaters, and he was like, "This is the first time I've ever like jumped during a Godzilla movie, because when Godzilla Earth appears at the end of the Planet of the Monsters and he roared, it's loud. It's so loud. And like, can you imagine being in a theater setting and hearing that?
Oh God.
That would like be ear shattering.
Damn.
And yes, they did that, and then Shin Godzilla recycled roars, and again, this one put a little effort into it, so I appreciate that at least.
Yeah. I mean, that I think with Shin Godzilla, I think that was the only point of disappointment for me, was that it just used a lot of original scores and sounds.
Don't get me wrong, like I don't.
The original soundtrack for Shin Godzilla was great.
Yeah,
like the new music
Shiro
made for
Sugisu was a phenomenal composer. Like you listen to the tracks he composed for Shin Godzilla, and any of the music from Neon Genesis Evangelion, it's great. He's a phenomenal musician, and I just would have liked a little more originality in that. But you know, I am not too disappointed. And again, Singular Point has a great score.
It does.
I think the score is getting an official release on July 24th.
And I'm gonna be buying it.
Hopefully, it won't be impossible to find in the States. But it might be. Who knows? If it's on Spotify, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's true. If it is, because I'm gonna listen to that.
Yeah.
You want to do your quick opinion on the intro?
Oh my God. Yeah. The opening. So I know you're not an anime guy, but like
I do. For full disclosure, I actually do really like the song.
yeah. No. So the thing is with anime, a lot of it's kind of like a general rule that like anime openings need to go hard.
Okay.
They need to go really hard.
Okay.
Like they need to be really, really good. And so far, for the anime I've watched, a lot of the themes are really, really good. But I don't think I have been able to get Encase by Bish, B-I-S-H, not bitch, B-I-S-H, Bish. Specifically capital B, lowercase I, capital S, capital H.
Okay.
I have not been able to get the song out of my head. It is so goddamn catchy.
It was very good. It's probably not as catchy for me, but I still really enjoyed it.
When I started watching it with my dad, because the first episode doesn't have the intro,
Yeah.
and we went to the second episode and he hit the skip intro button on Netflix, and I just kind of look over at him like, "You fucking kidding me right now? Are you serious?
What a jerk.
You're gonna skip the opening?"
Wow.
But yeah, no, that song is so good. And I'm not even like big on J-Rock, but it's great. I love that song.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I watched the intro most of the episodes. I think only when it got really deep into the story.
I never skip intros on anything.
Yeah, I usually do when I've kind of like when I'm binging something.
That's fair.
But yeah, so that's the music. Just really good.
Yeah.
It like definitely one of my favorite scores from this year, definitely. But recently, yeah. Any other?
Yeah, is there anything else?
I did want to give a shout out to how because this show takes place in 2030,
Yes.
and you wouldn't know it if you didn't know the background. I really appreciated the mundaneness of what 2030 looks like, because I don't know if you know this. The only thing that's really going to be a pointer for what year it is the laptop space on May's computer is 2 petabytes, which is probably going to be a thing in the future, and also the whole AI thing, whatever. But I that was just my quick shout out to just the attention to detail and what the future is probably going to be like.
We are starting to run a little short on time, so I want to try to get things rolling.
Okay.
Soon, I want you to talk about you had some theory.
Oh,
that I really enjoyed. I can't remember what the theory was.
Okay, so there is. We had a discussion. That Dave thinks that they did Anguirus dirty by killing him.
Yeah, he never attacked anyone. He only attacked in self-defense. He did not deserve to die.
Yeah. So, I agreed, but I had my own headcanon. So the way that they explained Anguirus is that he can deflect bullets and projectiles by basically seeing into the future, because all these monsters are singular points, and
Yes.
they can see into the future. And I think Anguirus is the only one that is portrayed as being pretty docile.
Yeah.
He's not going to mess with you if you don't mess with him. And I just thought that it was, kind of... I thought it was weird that they were just... That at the end, he just started rampaging around after they shot him once. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, if he sees in the future and he's pretty docile and he's not going to mess with you, what if he knew that he needed to die to further Jet Jaguar's evolution to stop the catastrophe?
Yeah, because the thing that helps Jet Jaguar is that they make a spear out of Anguirus' spikes, which is really cool.
Yeah, and by doing that, Jet Jaguar keeps basically upgrading itself by partaking in these fights and winning.
Yeah.
And he definitely would not have beaten the spiders without the spear. So I just thought that's my own headcanon. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're wrong, I think it's still a really cool idea. I doubt we'll ever get any, confirmation on that. But
probably not.
It's a cool headcanon to have for sure.
Yeah, because I just thought it was a cool idea since the way that they portrayed him to be, it kind of just made sense to me.
Yeah.
Like maybe he just wanted to stop the catastrophe like everyone else, and he did his part.
Yeah, and I really like the theory you had regarding the after credits scene in the final episode. In the final episode, we see that the Godzilla skeleton that's been kind of we're never really sure as to what its purpose was throughout the series, but in the final episode, we see that they're building Mechagodzilla. And
really cool looking Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, it's basically Kiryu, but with the Showa Mechagodzilla design.
And the bones are like protruding.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Sick.
And we find out that Ashihara, who we haven't even mentioned yet, but he's been kind of the guy who everyone's trying to find. He's the one who kind of discovered the singular points and discovered that the catastrophe is going to happen. So he's been been in the background the whole time because it's been 100 years.
He's the catalyst.
He's supposed to be dead, but then we find out he's still alive at the very end.
Somehow.
I don't know how. I'm really interested, but he's also overseeing Mechagodzilla's construction. And you came up with the theory that maybe they're trying to create a singular point that they can control.
Yes.
Which I think is a really cool idea.
Can control or maybe potentially balance out Godzilla.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the end game with that would be, but
I'm excited to see where it goes because with the introduction of the whole singular point idea, there's a lot of different ways you can go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now you've turned Mechagodzilla into just mechanical Godzilla to this otherworldly thing. It's got another purpose now other than just being a tool to kill Godzilla.
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely, because Godzilla's dead at this point.
That we know of.
Yeah.
You could come back.
Well, the catastrophe was averted, so.
And they have a dead Godzilla already.
They do. So I'll be really interested to see if we get a second season, what they'll do with Mechagodzilla. I don't know if we get a second season. If I think I'd be okay with it if we didn't. I think it as it is. I think it's a phenomenal piece of Godzilla media, and if we don't get a second season, I'll be just as pleased.
Yeah, me too. I don't think it really needs to have it, but I would love to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that wraps our discussion on Singular Point.
Yeah, definitely. If you haven't seen it and we didn't really do super spoilers.
We didn't. I mean, I feel like that stems from us not really understanding a lot of stuff that was going on.
True, but go watch the show.
Yeah, at least give it a chance. It's very intellectual, and that might turn some people off, but I do implore you to give it a chance.
Yes. Give it a chance, because I want more iterative takes like this than derivative.
Yeah, exactly.
Please support the show. We need more.
Just keep binging it over and over on Netflix.
Do it. Show them that you want it.
All right. Well, that wraps our discussion on I almost said Shin Godzilla. I don't know why.
Well,
that wraps our discussion on Singular Point. We'll move on real quick. Is there been anything other than Singular Point? Obviously, has there been any cool new kaiju thing you've been checking out recently?
not recently, but I am actually going to watch Ultra Q.
All right.
Because I have time.
That's good.
I have time now, and I'm going to watch it, and we'll do an episode on it someday.
Yeah. I have been playing the new Godzilla mobile game.
Oh, yeah.
Can you believe this? I'm playing a mobile game.
You told me it was good.
Yeah, it's Godzilla Battle Line. It's kind of like a bare bones strategy game where you have a leader monster and your opponent's leader monster, and then you basically just send out different forces to destroy them, and they do the same thing to you. And it's again, it's bare bones. I don't really like strategy games to begin with, but the fact that it's bare bones is like it's accessible to me.
Okay,
but it's really cool. It's the fights don't last more than 5 minutes. At the 5 minute mark, I think it does the thing where it's like, oh, whoever has the least amount of health loses. But like you can send out. I can send out Anguirus or Rodan, or I can send out, maser tanks or do a missile strike or something. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't, again, it's a mobile game. It doesn't take long, so you can just kind of fire it up casually just for something to do to kill time. And yeah, I'm kind of resentful of mobile games.
Same.
As a whole.
Yeah, they're not the best.
But I mean, there's not really any there are, but they're all optional. Like you can pay to try and get certain characters to show up more often because there's the upgrade system. If you during the expeditions where you go to find new abilities and characters to use, you can find ones you already have to use to upgrade them, so on and so forth. But yeah, it's all optional. You don't need to actually pay anything to be good at the game. If you just keep playing, you'll keep getting better and better stats. That's what a mobile game should be.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, and it's free, so
Are there microtransactions?
I just talked about that, Brian.
Okay.
That's literally what I've been talking about for the past minute.
Oh well. Oh well. I'm in past time. I'm in a different timeline. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay.
I'm glad it's good.
Yeah. So am I.
What's the next Godzilla game? Because I know there was a second one coming out.
No, this is the third one.
There's a third.
The other two are already out, but I couldn't download because they just weren't compatible with my phone for some reason.
Well,
I don't know why this one was.
That sucks.
But yeah, I don't know. But
get an emulator
for a mobile game.
One mobile game.
Well, there's two though.
Someday we're gonna have to talk about Godzilla Smash.
I wish I could still download that game.
For anyone who doesn't know, there was a legendary Godzilla mobile game that came out back during 2014.
Yeah, it was like a match 3 puzzle game.
Yeah, and it was a great time. I played it a lot.
Yeah,
on the toilet, and
as you should with mobile games.
It would occasionally send you notifications, some including "It's Smash o'clock."
I forgot about that.
I can't remember what the other ones are, but that one's just like
that one's a classic.
That one's embedded in my memory.
Yeah. Smash o'clock.
Yeah. On that note, I think that's the conclusion of this episode.
I think so.
Yeah.
One
more.
There's something I need to talk about.
Okay.
This started last night, so it's a known thing that Godzilla's kind of a thick boy.
He is a thick boy. For sure.
And I know you don't ever really get a phenomenal look at him in Singular Point, but Godzilla Ultima especially is one thick boy.
Okay.
So I don't really know how this started. You may have seen it. Did you see the tweet I made last night, Brian?
I'm never on Twitter. I actually deactivated my Twitter.
Again? Oh, okay.
Again.
Well, anyways, a couple people. One being someone I know, Yoko Higuchi, who actually worked on Shin Godzilla, but he and some other guy on Twitter I don't follow started a hashtag.
Oh, no.
And apparently it was, for a brief period of time, it was trending. The hashtag was hashtag dump truck Godzilla. I'm hoping Brian doesn't spit his coffee out. He seemed close to it.
Oh my god. Dump truck
Godzilla.
Hold on, boys. Dump truck coming through. Oh my god.
I think it was just for shits and giggles, but I was really high at the time when I saw it, so I was dying laughing.
All right, so loyal audience members, keep it going.
Yeah, we got to get hashtag dump truck Godzilla trending again.
We got to get it to at least top 3 on trending.
What is it? Is it 2,000 or 5,000 tweets to get it to trending? It's one of the two.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So just keep spamming it over and over again. Non-stop.
Now I think that's everything.
Okay.
I just had to throw that in there.
All right.
It was important, damn it.
It was important. You're right. You're right.
All right. I think that's it for today. I don't think we have any clue as to what we're doing next, but we got 2 weeks to figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
If you have any recommendations, hit us up.
Hit us up on Twitter or Facebook, both at Talking Toku. For now, I'm your host, David Scrivani.
I'm your co-host, Brian Kershaw.
And we will see you guys next time. Go watch Singular Point.
Yeah.
Bye.